Sawadee ka! Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So the other day for lunch, I made a version of the famous pad see ew noodles, but using these thin rice vermicelli noodles. And I realized that by the time I got up to cook to the time that I sat down to eat, it had only been 20 minutes. And I thought, wow, if I had gone out to get takeout, I might still be stuck in a line somewhere. So I thought this was a great recipe to share. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is soak these noodles. So I got some room temp water here, and the noodles are going in, and these are going to take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to rehydrate, depending on the brand, which is very important. Different brands have slightly different thicknesses, but I will show you how to tell when they're done, okay? So that's really going to be your time limiting factor in terms of prep, because there's very little else to do. Pad see ew calls for Chinese broccoli as our classic vegetable, but really for this, just you can use whatever greens you have in the fridge. But I do like that Chinese broccoli has crunchy stems. Thin bias for the stems, so it's nice and crunchy, but it's not too much. And then once you get to the thinner parts of the stem, you can go a little bit bigger with the leaf. You just half chop like that. I should tell you that pad see ew in Thailand, here in North America, pad see ew usually is made with the fresh wide rice noodles, but in Thailand it's quite common to have it made with these thin noodles, and we call it sen mi pad see ew. And the only other thing we have to chop is garlic. Smash. Come on! There we go. Some garlic is more stubborn than others. Little ends. Today I'm going to take care of my vegetarian friends and do a vegetarian version of the sauce because we already have the regular non-vegetarian version of the sauce in the other pad see ew recipe. So if you want to do vegetarian, equal parts Thai soy sauce and Golden Mountain sauce, which is our other kind of soy sauce. You can do Bragg's liquid amino, Maggi seasoning, or even do like tamari or something like that. It's just a different kind of soy sauce to keep it interesting. If you want to do, again, non-vegetarian version, I'll link to that recipe down below. That's the sauce. How easy is that? There is one thing we're going to add, but I'm not going to mix into the sauce, and that's black soy sauce. And we always add that for color. You can use dark soy sauce if you want. And I'm going to put it in a separate little thing because this brand of black soy sauce is very dark. And if I pour it from the bottle, sometimes it's like blah, and it's way too dark and it's not good. So you want to be careful with this one. Some other brands, like the Dragonfly brand, it's very light, so you can be more generous with that one. Okay. Believe it or not, that is all the prep, because everything else is just eggs, which you don't have to do anything with. If you're adding meat, you can add any kind of meat that you want. I'll add extra information on what to do if you want to add meat in the written recipe as well. We have so much time left that we're going to also make the condiment. Pad see ew is sweet and salty, basically. So what's recommended to serve with pad see ew is chili vinegar or prik nam som. Super simple. You take a chili. It could be any kind, a Thai chili, a jalapeno, a serrano, just anything with the spice level that you like. Put the chilies in a bowl and then just cover it with vinegar. When you're ready to eat, this will be ready to use. There we go. We got our condiments done, we got a prep done, and we still have so much time. The noodles aren't even done yet, my God. Let's get our wok set up. So I want to show you what the noodles look like when they're not quite done. So when you pick it up, it's not drooping completely. Like it's still kind of resisting gravity a little bit. That's not done yet. If you're in a rush, use warm water and it'll go like in half the time, but don't do hot water because that will overcook them very quickly. The noodles are pretty much done, and I'll show you when I pick this up. See how much it just droops completely? It's not like sticking out a little bit. That's kind of what you're going for. So that is now ready. And the good thing about using room temp water is it does take a little more time, but it's a lot more forgiving. You don't have to rush it. So I'm just gonna drain this and then cut them a little just to make it easier to toss. I really shouldn't have mixed it up before I cut them. It's not necessary, and you can cut it after you're done, but good to do it now. Why not? Okay, wok on. Let's get started. You do want a non-stick pan of some sort. Your wok should be well seasoned, or you use a non-stick skillet because these noodles tend to stick. The garlic can go in right away. Get that infused. Garlic will infuse into the oil, and the oil carries that flavor throughout the dish. That's why we do garlic first. Okay, once the garlic starts to turn just a little bit golden, you can go in with the eggs. You don't want the garlic to be brown or that will get bitter. And then scramble the eggs gently. If you see garlic at the edges, you can push them towards the center to prevent them from burning while you scramble the eggs. You can come in a little closer maybe. Yeah. There we go. And you want the egg cooked completely before you add the noodles, because what I found is these noodles are so thin that if you've got liquid egg in the wok, you put the noodles in, the liquid egg gunks up the noodles and turn them clumpy. Okay, not a big problem with big noodles, but with tiny noodles, that's a thing. Okay. My wok needs to be re-seasoned. That's okay. Okay, now the noodles go in. Woohoo! Give that a quick toss, get it nice and hot, and then basically all of our sauces goes in, seasoning, and also a little bit of water. The amount of water is highly dependent on the brand of noodles also, so definitely something you have to start with less and add more as you go, and then once you've worked with a brand of noodles a couple times, you get a good idea. And at this point, you want to keep tossing until all the liquid has been absorbed. Don't forget the sugar, OMG. Looks like a lot, but pad see ew it won't end up tasting like sweet, but pad see ew does need the sugar to balance all the salt. It's sort of like a salty, sweet combo, which is what makes it so delicious. One of the common issues people have with cooking these thin noodles is they end up breaking them into tiny pieces, which is very easy to do. Like, I've done it many times. And that comes from tossing it too much, and also using a spatula to like stir too much, a metal spatula especially, and then breaking them, and also overcooking them. Because when the noodles are well cooked or undercooked, they're not going to break. They'll only break once they become soft. So you have to kind of like taste. That's good. A little bit more maybe. Give it a little more time. So I'm going to add just a splash more water. This is the hard part about this. And that is getting the water right. And then a little bit of our black soy sauce for that color. Woo! Don't worry about incorporating the eggs into the noodles right now. With these noodles, they are particularly hard to mix everything in, and that's another reason why people end up with broken noodles, is they try to worry too much about getting everything mixed in right now, and they just over mix and then break the noodles. Okay, that's done. Vegetables go in. Oh, I'm starting to smell toastiness. That's exactly what we want. Ah, almost forgot. Pepper. White pepper. You can add it at the end, but I think it's better when you put it inside. You hear that toasting? That's good stuff. Okay, now at this point, if you overcook the kailan, Chinese broccoli, they turn chewy. So you just want to get it wilted and then be done with it. Woohoo! Okay, I'm going to actually turn this off now because I know that, see how this burnt stuff? If that happens, just take it out. You will be rewarded with nice smoky flavor because that happened, but you don't necessarily want to eat it. Okay, that is done. How easy and quick was that? So the camera has been going for 19 minutes and 48 seconds. But we haven't been cooking for that long. Less than 20 minutes. What did I tell you? Less than 20 minutes. These are now ready to eat. And this is bringing back memories for me because in Thailand, growing up, this was actually the kind of pad see ew that I ate the most often. Because at this one restaurant my family frequented, they were famous for their sen mi pad see ew. And so I didn't actually have the fresh noodle pad see ew till later. So this is like the original pad see ew for me. Okay, let's eat. It smells so good. Pad see ew and that smoky wok flavor, which you may not get if you use like a non-stick pan, but you can try by just letting the noodles and the eggs toast a bit. Now, I know that I want prik nam som on it because I am my mother's daughter and she loves prik nam som on everything. Quick toss. Yeah, you can add tofu, you can add chicken, but I find like I'm satisfied with eggs. I need to get a stem. Stem is the crunchy. Oh, it is such simple goodness, I tell you. That's like the word that I can use to describe it. It has simple flavors in a sense that it's not like, it doesn't have like herbs and spices and all that stuff, but it is so thoroughly satisfying, especially considering how quick it was to put together. And you can absolutely use this as a side dish. This is great alongside a papaya salad, like a lot of times Thai people do that. But if you have like a chicken or a beef or a protein that you're having as a main and you don't want to just do plain rice, these noodles are perfect as a side. Kids love this stuff. My son loves this stuff because the texture is so fun and it's a really simple, sort of kid-friendly flavor as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, something a little different. And the recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. A special thanks to our Patreon supporters who help support the show. And if you want to watch my show ad-free and get bonus content and prioritized access to me, you can check out what Patreon is all about in the description below. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time for your next delicious